anything.
So when I go to sell it after 30 years, whatever I make, that's on me.
Yeah, and you have full ownership in the home, so you don't have to pay the bank back anything.
Okay, so that's perfect. It's going to move us on to the next point. If you are, and we were talking about it because I was saying, like, you know, they used to not let black people own houses.
Mm-hmm.
If you're, how long have your grandparents didn't move here too early? Let's use your grandparents as an example, all right? Your grandparents moved here a while ago. They've owned their house for over 30 years. Let's make that assumption.
Okay.
All right. Your grandparents bought their house at $180,000, right? Back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
right? We live in a nice neighborhood now. I've seen your house. It's a good neighborhood. Your house is worth like $600,000 now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your grandparents have paid off their home. They lived in the house for more than 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now your grandparents have passed away. God rest their souls. Your mother and now her generation own that home.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's just your mother, but you know what I mean. Now it's in your family. That equity is yours, basically. That's what you're saying. Like, that home now is your property. That home does not, the bank cannot touch it. The bank has no interest in it. They can't repo it. The bank has no seeds in this home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, you know, your mother lives in another house. She doesn't live in the same house that your parents lived in, that they grew up in, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has her own home. Your mother's brothers have their own homes. So now there's just a house that you guys own,
Mm-hmm.
worth $600,000,
Mm-hmm.
that the bank has nothing to do with. When you sell that home, that is $600,000 pocket, right? Besides all the fees and stuff. Let's not get technical.
Yeah.
But besides all the fees and stuff, that is $600,000 pocketed, split between your mother and her two brothers,
Mm-hmm.
right? That is $300,000 without fees and everything that you just got, that you can go buy a home with, start a business with, do a lot of things with. Am I on the right track?
Yeah, generational wealth. And I mean, I can't really comment on state tax and all that kind of stuff, but I believe I think it gets stepped up basis when it goes through like probate for estates.
Dude, a really quick a way to get around that is before your parents die, if you have them write you onto the house, you don't have to pay all that shit.
Yeah, but a lot of times, you know, it may
People
be
aren't
an
thinking
unexpected death.
Yeah.
So
I mean, no. So if you know your parents are getting old, be like, "Hey, my nigga, like, put me down, bro."
Yeah. They're gonna be like, no. I'm living forever.
Yeah, exactly. But like, I hope people see what we mean by generational wealth. Is now you have a 500, even if it's 200, that's $200,000 that you just have now, that you can start. You can send your kids to college. They don't have to pay. You know, like, it is money you have that is just there that you got that we didn't get. That's all we're saying.
Yeah, and we watched that video of, you know, the expansion from the cities to the suburbs. You know, these tens of thousands of homes, and, you know, African Americans were not allowed to purchase them, and in the deeds they were said not allowed to be sold to African Americans. And so when you negate that generational wealth of owning real estate, passing it down, that's why there's a huge disparity, because they were denied opportunity.
And that's all we're saying is, like, that's what we mean when we say, and maybe white privilege in the way, but it's an unfair gap. So, like, when you're like, why can't black people? It's like, my man, you don't understand how much of a head start you have. Can you imagine, like, a rich family too, like a family that owned not even a home, just property that was theirs.
The development company.
Company comes and buys it.
Yeah.
And it's like, now you guys are millionaires off of just owning land that we were never allowed to.
Think about that. That was like 50, 60 years ago.
My parents were alive. My grandparents were definitely alive.
Yeah. And so you think about it all so long ago, bro, that is one generation.
And think about how much wealth you can accrue in one generation. Right?
A lot.
Like, a lot. And so I think what we're speaking to is twofold. It's like, it's unfair, going back to the fair thing that we were talking about. It's unfair for, you know, society that claims fairness, right? But then more so, it's up to us to really, like, push ownership of property, ownership of things that appreciate, right? Like, what are things that appreciate besides homes?
I mean, you got investments for sure. So it could be private businesses.
Investment's tricky though, because investment, are you talking about stock market investment or just investment in general?
Well, let's do stock market investment.
That's tricky. The stock market goes down too.
I mean, yeah, but over time, stock market tends to go up based
Always
on
appreciates.
historical, you know. Yeah. So again, it comes down to, can you tolerate risk?
Yeah.
can you handle those big drawdowns in the market? A lot of people can't. They panic and they see this is my money. Boom, sell out, and you're like, oh well, you went from $1 million to $800,000, but a couple months later, it's back to $1 million. And I mean that happens, all the time.
Dude.
So, I mean, it's not everyone. You have to assess what you can handle, in the stock market. It's not for everyone.
So then, let's say you're not a stock guy. What's another way that you can build appreciative wealth?
I mean, you got gold, kind of hard assets.
Who the fuck is using gold?
A lot of people own gold. You think about cryptocurrency nowadays. It is digital
gold
store of value. That's what a lot of people like. Grayscale. Grayscale is a fund company. That's their kind of slogan is digital gold. And so it's basically just a store in value.
I guess so. Basically, it's stored value.
Yeah, based upon supply and demand. Coming back to economics, you got to determine the value. It's tough to value something like that because what is it based upon?
It's like, and especially digital. It's like gold has physical applications. Like you can make stuff with gold.
Yeah.
So it becomes very valuable in that sense. But like cryptocurrency, like what the fuck? It's an amorphous, not real thing.
Yeah. To be honest, stuff kind of goes over my head. There is business application for like blockchain, Bitcoin and Ethereum, like stuff where you can do like coding. And a lot of companies are thinking about using it for like peer-to-peer and business-to-business.
Yeah.
For contracts and there's tons of security-based stuff on different platforms that you can build. But it is so over my head. I don't understand how that. I can't code or anything like that. So it's just like.
I don't know. And now you're getting into like the new generation. I don't know how that new generation is gonna play out. Like